All right, to start on Revit, you're going to click the R that's on your screen, Revit 2014. It's probably going to take a little while to open up. And looking at your sheet, it is this, your screen should look just like mine as well as your on your sheet. And it says step 2 to choose new under projects. So here's projects, and you're going to click new. And you're going to select architectural templates. So click the drop down arrow and go to architectural templates and then hit OK. And it might take a little while to load your first time. And a couple things that you need to make sure are always here. This is your properties browser and your project browser. And if these are ever gone or missing, you're going to click on the View tab and click on User Interface and make sure your project browser and your properties are there. You really can't do anything on Revit if they're missing, so you want to make sure that they're always there. Another thing I'm going to show you quick is your ribbon up here. If you can't see all of the little tabs and things, there's a white circle here. If you just click that, it will eventually get back to what it should look like. So that's all I'm going to go over on that page. Your properties and project browser are pretty much your main things you want to look at. The next one is the big tip. If you're in something, if you're drawing something and you want to get out of it, you can either press cancel or escape. Something selected up here and you don't want it selected, you can right click and hit cancel or press escape a couple times on your keyboard. All right, next you're going to start building your wall. It says build your classroom wall. You're going to select wall from the architectural tab. So up here are the tabs and here's architectural. And since we're building walls, we're going to click wall. And we are going to build, if you hover over, push your down arrow, you can see there's lots of different walls that you can choose from to load. And from the drop-down menu, it says that we are going to choose for our exterior walls brick on concrete masonry. So it's exterior brick on CMU is what we're going to choose, and that's the wall that loads. And in this option, in this bar up here, this is your next step down. It says, this is how tall your wall is. We don't want ours to be 20 feet. We want them just to be 10 feet tall. So we're going to change it to 10 feet. And for this, we're not going to make our walls more than 35 feet. So you want, when you're drawing them, you want them to stay less than 35 feet. Okay, so now I'm going to click where I want my wall to start. I'm going to stay inside these elevation tabs, which is fine. So I'm going to click where I want my wall to start, and I'm just going to move my mouse. And you can see that it looks small, but if I zoom in with my mouse, scroll in and out, it'll get a little bit bigger. So right there, the numbers are blue. Okay, I haven't clicked my mouse again. I just clicked it once to start and then move your mouse. And I'm just going to type in a number. I'm not going to hit backspace. I'm going to make this wall 35 feet. So I'm going to hit 35, hit a space, and then 0 for 0 inches, and I'm going to hit enter. So there's my one wall, and I'm going to move my wall down, and you can see that that's at a 90-degree angle. My angle there says 90, and I'm just going to make this wall 30 feet, 5 inches. So 30 space 5, hit enter. And I'm not clicking anymore with my mouse. I'm just moving my mouse. And I'm going to make this just kind of the shape that it shows there on the room. And let's see, I'm going to make this one 12 feet, 5 inches. Hit enter. And I'm going to do this one 12 feet. And I'm just going to kind of come over. And I want these to line up. this next wall line up. So all those dotted lines are lining up with the other walls. And since I want this one to go back to where I started from, I want to make sure that that dotted line goes all the way back to my starting point. And that means that wall is lined up. If I go past there, it's not going to line up. So I'm going to click here because I want my wall to end here. So I'm going to click my mouse and then I'm going to move up. And then when I have the pink square, that means my wall is connected. I'm going to click again. And now, like I said before, if I don't want anything selected, right now I still have my wall is selected. I'm going to right click and hit cancel a couple times. And now you can see here that my wall is not selected anymore. And there's the exterior of my wall. Next on your sheet, it talks about deleting things, and there's 3 different methods. Make sure that you are looking at how to delete different objects. That will become important to you later on. Next is changing the wall dimension. To change a wall dimension, you're going to click on a wall, and then it's always the adjacent one. So we can change this wall right here. If I want to change this wall, I'm going to click the adjacent one, and here's the dimensions to that wall. I'm not going to change any right now, but you can see that you can change dimensions of walls. And the next tip tells you about pressing escape to cancel. You just have to press it twice. So I'm going to cancel. Next is adding a door. And you add doors before you do after you do your walls, your interior or exterior walls. So I'm going to click door in my architectural tab. And you can see that I have some doors that load. There's also more doors though that aren't showing up here that you can load. These are just single flush doors. So on your sheet it says to click load family tool, and right here under the modify place door is load family. So I'm going to click load family. And when this opens up, these are all the different things that you can load. Which are quite a few. But since we loaded a door, we can only go to the door family. So I have to open up the door file. And here's all the different doors that you can load. And if you click on one, you can see a preview of it. So I'm going to just load just the front door, and I'm going to click open. And you can see in my properties browser that my door has loaded. You can change the size if you want to, so I'm going to change a little bit. And I'm just going to put my front door right here, and I want my door to swing out, so I'm going to make sure my door swings out and not in. And I'm going to click where I want my door to be, and you can see that my door. These arrows here allow me to, if I press escape to get out of my door, these arrows allow me to change the way the door is or the direction that the door goes. The next on your sheet talks about adding in a window. Since we're doing a window, you're going to click on your architectural tab, and this time we're going to choose window because that's what we're wanting to add. So I'm going to click window. If this is the window you want loaded, then you can choose the side, and we're just going to go in here and put in some windows. You can see that that will be the window sills on the outside, and this will be the window sills on the inside. So I'm going to click here and put my window sill. Okay, so there's my first window. And I'm going to scroll out here. I'm going to put in another window. And put in one over here. And now I want to put in a little bit bigger window. So I'm going to go back here to the load family. And since I have a window, I have to click Windows. If I click anything else, it won't load. So let's see. I'm going to put in an arced window. Put in a big one. So I'm click open. And if you don't see it load here in your properties, you might have to hit the drop down arrow and go find it. But you can see that there it's loaded. I can choose my side. And again, I'm going to scroll in and make sure my sill's on the inside. I'm going to click and put my window. You can type in and change these dimensions. You want them away from each other. You can just kind of click them in where you want them to go. Okay, so there are all my windows. I'm going to press escape twice to get out of my window. Next, it talks to you about saving. So you want to click the R, the application menu, go down to save as. You want to save it as a project. And remember the GTT folder that you made under your U drive. You should have a GTT projects folder. I obviously don't have one, so and you're going to name this classroom and then hit save. That's all on your sheet, so make sure you read the sheet. All right, to view something as 3D, there's 3 different ways you can view something as 3D. You can use the quick access toolbar and click 3D. So there's the first way to see something 3D. All right, method number 2 says from the view tab. So here's your view tab. You can click 3D view. Okay. Which it's already there, so you can click 3D view. You can actually use your mouse and scroll around here. You can see our windows that we put in, the 2 different ones that we loaded. There's our door. You can also use your project browser to see views available. So we want to go back to floor level 1. So under floor, I'm going to click double click level 1, and that gets me back to my floor level 1. The floor view is where we add everything. So if I wanted to add in more walls, I would click my architectural wall, and let's just say I want a basic generic interior. So I'm going to do generic 6 inches, and I'm going to click and add in the walls that I want. Again, you can type in your dimensions that you want. So there's a wall there. All right, so I added my wall, my interior wall. Now I'm going to go back and add in another door. And this time I'm just going to do the single raised door. And this time I want it to swing into my room. So there's my door. And press escape a couple times to get out. All right, next on your sheet, it talks about adding in furniture. And to do that, you're going to click on component, because it's not a wall and it's not a door and it's not a window, it's a component. So I'm going to click on component, and there's a few things that load here in your project or your properties. We're not going to do any trees or anything. A desk loads, parking spaces we're not doing. So if there's not what's there, we need to click load family. And when you click load family, you get all those folders again. So, and I don't know where everything is located, so you kind of have to look in things. But obviously, since it's we're doing components, we can't do a door and we can't do window, but we can do, let's click on the furniture tab. And then there's other things in here, but let's say that we want to add in a TV stand. So I'm going to click TV stand. You can see it loads over here. There's also flat screen TVs. There's a mirror. There's beds, things like that. So I'm going to open up a TV stand. And you can see that my TV stand loads here in my properties browser. But again, if it doesn't, click your down arrow and go find it. So here's my TV stand. You can see that I've opened it. If I click on it, it will be placed. But let's say I don't want it that direction. I want it to face a different direction. So there's 2 methods in your packet that talks to you about how to rotate a component. the first one says that you can hit your space bar and it'll rotate it 90 degrees. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and put my TV stand there. The next way is to place it and then use your modify tab, your modify button. So I'm going to click modify, and then I get this little rotation, and if I click and kind of drag it, it will rotate, and then click again. You just kind of have to mess around with it and figure out. So there you are able to get it at an angle. I'm going to press escape a couple times to get it away. And then you can move it back if you want to, and move it where you would like it to be. All right, the next sections in your packet talk about changing the height of a component, adding a floor, and adding a roof, and I'm going to, there's separate videos for all of those. So I'm going to end this video now, and you can watch those other videos to finish off the packet.